Hello again. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how to study core vocabulary in a language. Well, according to many studies, the most important 1000 words are the most common. So we're talking about high frequency vocabulary. And according to some other studies, even if you know the most frequent 800 words, that's what you have to know how to use properly in everyday conversations. So we got between 1800 and 1200 words, which these courses have. The Hugo courses, I believe it's more like between 900 words and 1200 words. For instance, this one for Swedish has around 1200 words, just like the same course for French. And then I believe that other courses have slightly less, like the one for Welsh and Japanese might be like 900, 1000 at its most. But when we say words, what do we mean? When we say words, we say the words like in the dictionary, right? In the dictionary. But if you think this way, when you have a word list, for instance, when you have a word list in a course, like for instance this one in Swedish. I'm gonna be a little bit bad showing you guys these things. Let me see. Okay. So you got the list of words, right? You got the list of words, but amongst the list of words, we got things like, for instance, Swedish works like it has the article at the end of the word. So we have the word for letter, brev, and then they have the ending, which is the article. So brev, brevet. We have the word for brother, broer, broeder, brother. So, and then we have the word for door, der, deren, derer. What does it mean? It means that when we speak, you will be using more than just the 1200 words that are listed at the end. So you use der, deren, derre, you have three words, right? You use broer, broeder, brother, you have another three words, and so on. So if you study all the vocabulary, all the 1200 words from here, and then you study the grammar, you study verbs, and study all that stuff, you will be able to communicate probably with 2000 words. So only with one course, you might get to an intermediate level with in the language, right? And that is great. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm studying vocabulary from here, and then I'll get back to the course. And then I studied Catalan before. I made the mistake of studying badly, like I studied badly almost every language that I studied. So now I'm noting down function words, so adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and so on. And I have a list. I'm making that list. So here it is, a list that I'm making. Pretty nice. And I note down the words and I translate into Portuguese. So we have a lot of high frequency vocabulary here. Lively, expressly, freely, very late, little by little, here, there, and so on. We have a lot of high frequency vocabulary here that I'm noting down directly from from this book, Grammar, Rootless Grammar from Catalan. So that's what I will be studying along the next, let's see, over the next 2 weeks or so. Uh, this function vocabulary, along with Swedish, for instance. So if you study the core vocabulary, like 1000 words, 800 at least, you will be able to function in the language much faster than you might think. And that's what I'm doing now. So of course that for some languages you have courses, reference courses. So this one will work for Swedish, this one will work for French, will work for Dutch, but then of course there are other languages that there ain't so many good resources for them. and you might need a different course, right? You might need a different course. And so you gotta search for that course. For instance, Tibetan, I haven't studied Tibetan yet, but I believe that colloquial Tibetan, it's a new course, a brand new course over there. I believe that it will be a good course to study core vocabulary. Um, and For instance, Albanian, you got discovering Albanian, which is seems like a great course. I haven't studied yet either, but seems like a great course. And yes, the thing is, we have to focus first on the first 1,000 to 1,200 words and vocabulary, very important vocabulary, and then study grammar before we moving on to other levels. So before we start, we're trying to study, let's see, before you try to study words and vocabulary which are concerning higher levels. So you got the frequency list of 4,000 words. The first ones you have to study are the first 1,000, and then the other 1,000. And only then will you move on. But before that you try to learn more advanced vocabulary, you have to bear in mind that the most important for you now is that you are able to function with the most important and most frequent words in everyday conversations. So that's what we will do. That's what I'm doing with Swedish, and this will be my reference. That's what I'll do with Catalan, and just like I said, I will also note down then a list of words. That's what I'll do when I start studying Dutch. My reference course will be the same. Will be this one too for Dutch, and for French. It's exactly the same course that I will use as a reference course, and that's it. So the thing is, I believe that sometimes we got like crazy with words, so many words to learn, so many words that we need to study, that we forget that the most important words, the most frequent ones, are the ones that we have to study first. And that's also what I will do when I get back to Romanian. So this is it for now, and see you guys then.